Hey there, welcome in. It's been a while. How are you doing? Great, amazing. So you're here to have your face redone today, is that correct? And what were we looking at? You know, face-wise, what were we thinking? Oh, you've got reference material for me. Okay, let's see. Like this? You want to look like Aki from Chainsaw Man? Okay, that's pretty doable. I mean, I think a large part of his personality is, well, you can kind of see he has the very stern look for his actual face. And he has earrings as well. Are we getting our ears pierced? Okay. What about the hairstyle? That's a pretty iconic look when it comes to Aki. You can see it in all of his stuff. He's got this little tuft at the top here. And yeah, he has this quite a stern look on his face. So we want the more stern, pretty basic, no sort of spots or anything like that. We could add in some like little freckles or beauty marks if you want anything. Yeah? Okay. Where would you want those? Sort of around there. Do you mind? Yeah, can I? Yeah, so sort of around this area here. Yeah, okay. You can do that, okay. Well, first, you still have your prior face from the last time on, so we're just going to get a little device here to get rid of that. So let's do that real quick. And just grab the device to remove that. So here we are. Looks a bit scary, but it's fine, don't worry. And we're just going to take this and just scan it across your face. Yeah? Cool. So I'm going to go up and down to begin with, across the face, and then we're going to go side to side. You can just sit there. Probably better if you close your eyes. Just because this could, you know, have an effect there. Unless we're looking to change our eye colour as well. And then you would want to keep them open. I'm not really sure what Aki's eye colour is. I'm sure that's something you would know better than I. Okay. Just scanning across the face. Cool. Okay. So that looks, if I might just... Oh, we missed a spot right here. Hold on, let me just... Okay. Yeah, that looks good to me. So, if I pack that back up and fiddle with the zip. Okay, so I think to begin with, I'm just going to prime your face with this spray. So let's just get this ready. And let me shield your eyes. Okay, how does that look? Or feel, sorry. It shouldn't feel like anything, but you know, if you're having a reaction or something, tell me. No, you're good? Okay. I'm going to come in with this here pen first and just mark out some quick lines so that I can properly work from it when we bring in the tool, the famous tool. Okay, so let me get my reference here. So we really are just going for Aki here, yeah? Do we want any changes? Some beauty marks or freckles? The freckles on the cheeks, yeah. Okay, we can do that. Anything else that we were looking for here? Thicker eyebrows and Aki. Yeah, his eyebrows are quite thin here, so we're looking for thicker and longer as well. Okay, we can do that. We can definitely do that. Are we looking for the same type of like nose and mouth situation? Yeah. Okay. I can do something about the fringe here as well. I can sort of put some of the shading in if we want it to look like that, or are we going to have a different hairstyle at a later date? Different hairstyle, just looking for that type of face. Okay, that's fine. We can do that. 100%. Yeah. Okay. And do you want me to do the piercing here? Because we can do that as well. Yeah? Okay, so I'm just going to come in and mark some lines just to make sure that, you know, we are getting this all correct. So let's mark out an eye here for you. Just, you know, we need to make sure that we're actually putting these eyes in the right place. If we put them in the wrong place, you'll look all screwed up. We don't want any of that. So let's get that and mark out the general area of the nose and the mouth. Okay. And you wanted your ears pierced, so we'll mark where the piercing will be. Is it just one ear? I can't actually see his other ear here. He has both ears pierced. What were you looking for? You want to get both as well? Yep, we can do that. A similar size piercing, like maybe around there. Yeah, okay. So we'll go for that as well in these ears right there. Okay. Hold on. Fuck that up a little bit. There we go. That's much better. And we wanted the more like sharper, stronger eyebrows as well. Yeah, they go for longer too. Okay. Right. Cool. You're looking all primed up there. So we're going to come in with the actual tool here, the mythical tool. And we're going to try and give you the actual stuff we want here. I can also actually. Is it okay if I just trim some of your hair back a little bit because it's a little bit dangly? Is that fine or yeah? Okay. So I just take your fringe here and just. That's fine. We do have a sort of hair specialist that you can head to after this if you want to get that touched up a bit, but it shouldn't look too bad. I was just moving it out of the way so that we can actually work. So let's get started here. So I've got my guidelines. Okay, we'll start with the piercings. If you let me just... Okay, and on the other side as well, just... Okay. So both of these, feel that, just see how that feels. Is that too heavy? No? Okay, cool. No pain? Good. Okay. Now we're going to go for the rest of it. Did we want any facial piercings as well, just before I get started? Because it can be a bit annoying to add those in later. It's better to put them in on the guidelines. Lip piercing here? Yeah, okay, we can do that. Good job I asked. Wouldn't have got that otherwise. Okay. Anything else? Like a nose or eyebrow? No? Okay. That's fine. Let's... So just coming in here on the eye, shaping that. Okay, now we're gonna come in on the eyebrow as well and just... And what colour was that? I'm doing it darker, is that okay? Yeah? Okay. Right, we're gonna do the same on the other side. Unfortunately, no symmetry tool in real life. Yeah, I know, but maybe we'll have that in a few years. I suppose in the past, people didn't have this type of technology either, did they? If you just want to feel that, check what that feels, okay? Can I just... Yeah. Just need to check that it's actually properly symmetrical here. It looks it. Okay, yeah. Doing pretty well, doing pretty well. Feels good. No pain. No pain. Okay, we're going to come in for the... I think we'll go for the lips. So in terms of Aki's lips, because he's an anime character, you can't really see that he has any. He's got like a pretty thin lip on the bottom from what it looks like from the shading. And obviously you can't really see the top lip. What type of size lips are we thinking here? Because I can kind of go any which way. We want a slightly thicker bottom lip than Aki. The top lip can be pretty thin. Okay, that's fair. Go for that. So there, and just feel that. Is that, yeah? Okay. And do we want a sort of, you know, prominent cupid's bow here or no? No, a bit more flat, okay. Okay, great. That looks good. Now we can do the piercing now, or we can leave that for last. Do it now, because I can also remove it if you don't like it. But we've only got about a 5-minute gap there, so we'll do it now. If you don't like it within a minute or so, let me know and I'll take it away, okay? So you feel that? What does that feel like? Is it too heavy or no? Good? Good, okay. We're okay with that. We want to keep it? We're going to keep it, okay. So we've got a nose remaining. So Aki has quite a straight nose. Are we looking for that same vibe? Yeah. And in terms of nostrils, how big are we thinking? Still relatively thin, but big enough that you're not going to have trouble breathing, obviously. Yeah, okay, we can do that. So do we want any sort of like, obviously because the nose comes in here, do we want a sort of like crookedness to that or keep that straight? Slightly crooked, yeah, we can go for that, Of course, don't have a problem there. Okay. Awesome, okay. Well, we've got all that done. But we still need to add a colour, of course. So this is, at the moment, we're looking pretty good, but obviously we're just in grayscale. So we want to look at the sort of colours that we're going to add in here. Aki's quite pale. He seems to have blue eyes, I would say, and quite dark hair and quite dark shadows as well. He has some shadows under his eyes here as well from obviously overworking. He's got, I think his piercings tend to be red. So what are you thinking for yours? We want a darker skin tone? Yeah, we can totally do that. And what eye colour? Leaning more towards a grey. Okay. And hair? We want to go a bit more colourful. Maybe go for like a sort of ambery, greeny, that sort of area. No, more towards pink. We can go more towards pink for sure. Yeah. I think that'll work. And we want to do that with all of your hair as well, because I can do that completely no extra as a part of this all. Makes it easier for when obviously you go and get styled. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll start with the hair then and see if you like it. We can always change that. So let's go in here with a sort of, do we want like a proper hot pink, or do we want like a more neutral, maybe a more pastel, more sort of neutral but brighter, obvious? Okay, yeah, we can do that. So let's get the colour up and start working there. We need to do the eyebrows as well, obviously. Okay, that's looking pretty good if I say so, but obviously it's yours. So if you want to take a look in our mirror and just let me know how you think, you can just hold that up to yourself there. Yeah, okay, cool. And then again, we were looking at slightly darker skin shade. So how many tones darker would you say? Are we thinking like darker as in just a more tan, or are we looking at like a dark skin color, or are we looking at like, you know, what type of coloration are we looking for here? Like day out on the beach, or are we thinking, you know, working out in the fields all day, what type of sort of darkness are we going to? More like somewhere in between the two, yeah? We can do that, we can do that. And what sort of undertones are we thinking for the skin? We can go for some pinks, some reds, some purples, some blues. We could even do a green, though that might come out a little weird. But it's up to you. Maybe more of a bluish, yeah? Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, we can totally work with that. So blue, and we want a more sort of thorough, like darker shade here than Arky's got. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can go for that 100%. So let's come in here and just so that should have just over your whole body, so you can just take a look down and see how that feels for you. Honestly, it's pretty similar to where you were at already, but we just changed the undertones a little bit, pushed it more towards a bluish tint. So how do you feel about that? Yeah? Okay. In terms of jewellery, we're thinking, as I said, Arky goes for red here. That might look a little tacky, but you can do what you want. Ultimately, it's up to you. More of a sort of traditional, like a silvery gold, somewhere in between. Yeah, we can go with that. So we'll start with the ear piercings and then go for the lip last. So let's just... And of course we need the lip as well, which is... Okay. Not hating it, not hating it. Cool. In terms of lips, we can do a variety of colours. We go for a more natural, or we can, you know, make it look like you're permanently glossed up. Up to you. Personally, I'd recommend going for a more natural tone because it still allows you to, you know, apply any makeup or anything like that you want to, and it will work in a way as advertised by the product. I think a couple products nowadays are advertising, you know, if you've got blue lips, this will work, but a lot of the time it's sort of saying, you know, generally targeted at more natural tones that the lip will register at. So if you're thinking of applying any more products on later, I'd recommend going for a more natural tone. But if you just want one specific colour and you're gonna, you know, you'd be applying it every day anyways, then you might as well go for that. So yeah, okay. Yeah, we can do that 100%. Let's just come in here and actually apply it. Okay, looks good. So the only thing left here is the eye colour. So of course we're thinking whites of the eyes, the irises and the pupils as well. What sort of colours are we looking for? We can go crazy on this. There's not really a limit. You can do what you want. Keeping the whites more in the white, maybe a little off-white, more sort of cream. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. Going for a more natural look there. And we want to keep the pupils black as well. Do we want to do anything crazy designs, or are we keeping it normal? Yeah. And what colour do we want the irises to be here? So we've got this sort of shade going on with the blue undertones already and the pink hair, so we could probably go for somewhere there. There is sort of an angle there. We could even go for a sort of mintish, maybe greeny type colour could work. Of course, the blue only being undertones means that it will pop certain outfits. So like it would work with a green, it would work with a pink. So I think, you know, we could look at something like that. I'm thinking more in the green. Yeah, we can go for a green. What type of green are we thinking? Darker, lighter, more vibrant, more pastel? Okay. Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's come in with that then. Just start with the whites. And the pupils, because those are easy. And then we want to go for the irises here as well and just... Okay. Yeah, you're looking great. I think this has worked really well. Is there anything else you wanted here? Of course, we have a stylist here as well. You can go and visit if you want more of a touch up to the hair there. But in terms of the face, is there anything we want to do before we finalise? Or are we good? We're good? Okay, right, well, I'm just going to use the spray again, make sure that it sets properly. Okay. Now we just want to leave that. Don't apply any products to it for a day, just to make sure that it's fully settled. But besides that, you should be all good to go. Yeah, thank you for coming in. Oh, and here's your book back.